Coming up on this week's episode of Flash Talk, Kent State head football coach Mark Carney talks about his team's big win over Bowling Green. Women's basketball head coach Todd Starkey joins the show for the first time this fall to preview his team's upcoming season. From the Golden Flashes Club, Chip Whipple joins us to talk about Giving Tuesday. And finally, men's basketball assistant coach Randal Holt previews men's basketball's home opener. Boy, all that and more coming up in a flash. Joined on Flash Talk by Kent State head football coach Mark Carney. Coach, really appreciate you joining me, coming off a big comeback win against Bowling Green, 24-21. You're down at the break 14-3, but after Bowling Green gets that third touchdown, it's 21-3. What are you saying to your guys on the sideline?
Well, it started in the locker room at halftime. I thought the first half was, Bowling Green did a great job, don't get me wrong, but I thought a lot of self-inflicted wounds as far as what we can control. And the message at halftime was control the controllables. I really thought that every point, every error in the first half was very much in our control, and we did a better job in the second half controlling those controllables, and the results were in our favor.
Tell me how big special teams were in that second
Huge.
half. I saw Trey Rubenstein make a couple of big tackles. He looked like he was shot out of a cannon, but a couple of those kickoffs, you guys forced some penalties that backed the Falcons' offense up a little bit. Tell me about that special teams effort on Saturday.
Yeah, unbelievable. Whether it's Darylis Clark in the return game or as a gunner, forcing fair catches, getting the ball down, on the punt returner. Rubenstein forced a fumble, had I think 4 tackles in total, not including his defensive snaps. He's an impact guy. I thought the plan, the chess match back and forth was a critical part of this game, and I think that part of it really fed into the offense and defense. And in the after the opening touchdown, Bowling Green in the third quarter, I thought that was a complete game by all phases after that.
You guys score late to take the lead. Darylis Clark with the touchdown pass to Wayne Harris for his first career touchdown. Yeah. Your defense was in sort of a similar spot against Buffalo, but this time they get the stop to win the game. Actually, 2 stops with under 3 minutes to go. Yeah. What was the message to your defense going out there trying to get that final stop?
Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Don't, we're not playing to not lose. We're playing to win. And Coach Key called the game to win in those situations, and the guys responded and made the plays.
Switching over to the offensive side of the ball, what ignited that spark? Because you guys seemed to struggle a little bit in the first half. Mm-hmm. Then you get that touchdown to Cade Wolford. Gavin runs it in on one play.
Yeah, it was complimentary. Like you said, with the special teams, I think all 3 phases of the game played complimentary football there, in the last quarter and a half in that game. And, it proved to be the difference.
2 of your freshman safeties, Joel Cordoba and Derek Jackson III, combined for 23 tackles. Cordoba led your team with 13 tackles. What can you say about those 2 guys?
Studs. This entire freshman class is outstanding. We've got to do whatever we can to keep them here and retain these guys as we continue to build this program. Impact guys all the way around. The 2 freshman safeties from the jump have been impact guys. Earn their stripes early, coming here in the wintertime in January and starting fast. The level of trust they've been able to build with their teammates and with the coaching staff has been incredible.
Wayne Harris went through his own little journey in that game. He drops a touchdown, and then he catches the game winner from Darylis Clark for the first of his career. Tell me about the type of kid he is.
He's been productive for us all year. He has a very high expectation level for himself. And when you lose production from Luke Floria, right, an NFL player, and you lose production from Krishan McCray, someone's got to fill that void, and he put a lot of pressure on himself to fill that void. And when you haven't had the success you've hoped for to that point, you start pressing a little bit, and I think he did in that game. Misjudged a punt a series or 2 before that. Put the ball on the ground, which he does not do, and then he gets an opportunity to atone for that mistake, and another mistake happens. But I thought the leadership of our quarterback in that moment was unbelievable. Drew runs down the field. He's the first one there to say, "Hey man, pick your head up. The ball's coming back to you." He comes off the field, and I had a similar message for him that the play will find him. He doesn't need to go try to make it, but when it's there, be the guy who makes it. At the end of the game, it was there, and he made it. So fired up.
Knowing that you get an extended week to prepare here and then a short week against the school down the road. Tell me about that.
Action's a fun part of this journey. And anytime you get into, this deep in the season, you've established a routine, right? You understand what Sunday looks like, Monday looks like. Well, now all of a sudden on your schedule, it's a Tuesday, but it's really a Friday. And Sunday is, really a Monday. So keeping your knees bent, your head on a swivel, and adjusting and adapting is a key to life. And, we're going to do our best to stay together through this maximum portion of the schedule. So let the games begin.
Head football coach Mark Carney here on Flash Talk. Coach, thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dane.
The light from a star can take millions of years to reach Earth. So when you look at a star, you're looking back in time. But I see the future. I see exploration and courage. I see my country finding new horizons out there. And I see giant leaps making a comeback. I see myself. The future is where I'll make history.
Joined here on Flash Talk for the first time this season by Kent State women's basketball head coach Todd Starkey. Coach, appreciate you joining me. Home opener is right around the corner. Season opener also right around the corner at James Madison. What are you most excited about?
I'm not sure what I'm most excited about. I'll tell you, the players are most excited about not having to practice every single day. So I think they're just ready to play. Some other people, they've been working hard through the summer and through the fall, and some of that gets monotonous, but you got to go through the reps. You got to get the work in, and I think this group is ready to kind of see where they are against other people and get after it. Yeah.
You bring in 3 freshmen this year: Caitlin Holmes, Riley Calicay, Anna Campanelli, also a transfer in Emery Klatt. What can Flash's fans expect from some of those newcomers?
They bring a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not sure day to day which ends up. I think you get thrown in a lot of different directions as a freshman, as a new player, new terminology, all those type of things. But all of them have shown some flashes, no pun intended, of doing some really good things. So we're really excited about the new players and how they fit with what we're doing.
We talk about the new players. There's still a handful of returnees that made huge impacts, not only last year, but also on that championship team a couple seasons ago. Deanna Gray, Janae Tyler, Corinne Hauser is back. Maya Babbitt's coming off a single-season 3-point record. How satisfying is it to have that continuity, knowing that, all right, there are those players that know your system?
I think that's probably why we got picked number one, in preseason, because we had the most back. There's been a lot of turnover and that type of thing. Whether we're a number one team at this point, I don't know. I don't think so. We've got a lot of work to do, but that group knows how to play together. They've logged some minutes together. They've seen what success looks like. They've had really good examples in their upperclassmen, and now it's their turn to really step up into more of a leadership role. There's no looking around for Jenna or Bridget or Katie come walking through the door. It's on them now. And so that changes things, changes the dynamic, changes the mentals a little bit. And so we've been working through some of that. Obviously, they're very talented. When all of them are clicking at the same time, we're pretty good.
You obviously have a very challenging non-conference schedule. Your team usually does every single year, but you go to Ohio State, you go to West Virginia. James Madison's a very good team in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. How do you feel that prepares you every single year for conference play?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a firm believer you have to be tested, right? You got to test your team, see where they are. You always learn more going through adversity. You always have their attention on a higher level after losses and that type of thing. Not that we want to ever lose games, but it's going to be tough to go unscathed through that non-conference schedule. So we'll see where we are and how they respond to that type of thing. I think that's one of the big things that this team is really the biggest area of growth for them is handling adversity. And, once again, they've had players in the past that they could rely on in those tough moments. And now those players have graduated, and now they're going to have to, step up that side of things as well. So I'm excited to see how it goes through that. It's great challenges, and we're going to prepare to try and win every single game. But I'm not naive to the fact that, it's a tough non-conference schedule, and we're going to have to learn some things along the way.
The next point I'll bring up is something I feel like people don't talk about enough with Kent State women's basketball. For the second season in a row, you have nobody that still has eligibility left transfer out right? Everyone stays in this program in the midst of the transfer portal. Tell me about that culture that you've created within this program and why it is so strong.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to this point. Whether that continues or not, we'll see. I mean, it's just a different landscape in college sports now. Obviously, I'm really excited with having the players that we have back because I really like our team. I like our players. I think that helps us out with, where we kind of start the season, in that, there's familiarity with those things. Everything, you're not trying to teach 8, 9 new players all your terminology, the way things go, what it looks like to win, and that type of thing. If you can use that to your advantage, right? That's our goal in all this, is to be able to try and keep our recruit really good players out of high school or the right transfers in, to keep those players here and develop them and them develop together and us really pursue, championships together. But it's an exciting thing to, like I said, to continue to have that continuity. And I think it does speak to our coaching staff, the way we evaluate the players that we bring in, and the way that they're bought into what we're doing.
This year, Coach, is the 75th anniversary of the Mack Center. I know you have a lot of great memories with some big home wins. Are there any that stick out inside the Mack Center for you?
Well, I wasn't here for 65 of those years, but the last 10 I've been here for. And, I still remember as a high school kid, over in Canfield, Ohio, our team coming over here to watch Kent State versus Central Michigan men's game back in the late 80s, So this building has a lot of history. There've been a lot of memories that have been built. We just got a new floor, which is a nice upgrade to what we're doing. But what an incredible thing to be in the same building for 75 years. If these walls could talk, right?
Yeah.
I think the amount of history and stories that have gone on in the Mack Center over the years, just unbelievable. So excited to be part of the 75th year celebration, and hopefully we can make it a special year.
Kent State women's basketball head coach Todd Starkey. Coach, we appreciate the time.
Sounds good. Go Flashes.
When it comes to reaching your goals, having the right support can make all the difference. That's why we trust Green Lending, Kent State Athletics' exclusive mortgage partner, to help you achieve your home ownership dreams.
Just like on the court, everyone has a role to play. With the right teammates, any dream is possible. Green Lending is here to be that support to help you make those big moves in life.
Visit greenlending.com and let Green Lending help turn your dreams into reality.
Green Lending, helping Golden Flashes achieve their biggest dreams on and off the court.
For every just one more mile to your next ace on the court, when you have a sports-related injury, Cleveland Clinic is here. For our Cavaliers, our Guardians, and athletes at all levels, our sports medicine team helps keep you in the game. With expert diagnosis, personalized sports therapies, and game-changing surgeries. For every injury, for every athlete, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Joined here on Flash Talk by Kent State Senior Associate Director for Communications and Annual Giving, Chip Whipple. Chip, appreciate you joining me here on the show. Giving Tuesday coming up. Tell me, how important is Giving Tuesday just in general for the Kent State athletics community?
Yeah, Giving Tuesday is our most important fundraising time of the year. It is what our most generous annual tradition. Giving Tuesday nationally is the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It's the time of the year where people can give back to the things they support most in life. And we hope that our fans and alumni and donors take this time to donate back to Kent State University. And we use this time to kind of highlight the things that are most important for each athletic program. Each team has their own featured fund in Giving Tuesday. And so some of our teams obviously view that NIL landscape, or we call excellence funds. That's the funds they're fundraising for this year, just because they know that's the most important part of what they're trying to do.
Let's dive into this Giving Tuesday a little bit. I'll start with the participation boost. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Take Giving Tuesday and turn it into a month-long season of giving. So starting on November 1st, every 25 unique donors to each featured fund, which all of our athletic programs are one of our featured funds, for every 25 unique donors, the Kent State University Foundation will give a bonus $500 to that program. Okay. And so how we classify unique donors is someone who's given a gift of $25 or more to one of our featured funds.
I know there's also Triple Your Gift Tuesday. It's something I talked about a little bit on this show last year. It sounds like a pretty cool initiative.
For this year, it's Tuesday, November 4th. Starting at midnight, any gift to a featured fund will get matched by an individual donor who each featured fund has a generous donor who's provided a matching gift to begin with. So that'll get matched dollar for dollar. And then again, we have a $25,000 matching pool from the Kent State University Foundation. So that gift will be matched a third time. So now we'll say a $25 gift becomes a $75 gift on Triple Your Gift Tuesday.
And an interesting question I have, you said you have each in their own, right, for every sport. Why do you feel like that's important instead of grouping it all together?
We want to let people be passionate to what they're passionate about. So if I'm let's say a men's golf supporter, we want to give that option of you can support men's golf. This year we do have one of our featured funds is the Blue and Gold Sport Performance Fund. And so that is a fund that impacts all of Kent State student athletes. So we do have a fund that's available this year that if somebody is looking more holistically to support Kent State athletics, we have a fund that does exactly that.
Another thing with Giving Tuesday I see is Donor Dollar Challenge Week.
Yeah, so this is kind of an athletics feel. That's the specific time of Giving Tuesday where we kind of have the different funds compete against each other. So during that week, I believe it starts on November 18th, the fund that has the most unique donors will get a bonus $2,500, and the fund that raises the most money that week will get a bonus $2,500. And if one fund really goes all out, they could win both of those and get a bonus $5,000 to their fund.
Take me through some of the responsibilities and the connection that you have to build with donors and make sure they're connected with the Kent State community year long.
So I'm part of a great team in the Golden Flashes Club, so I get a lot of support from everyone else there. But what I focus on mainly is how we connect and we outreach to both of our alumni, our fans, and our donors. And so turning those alumni and fans into people who maybe if they now have capacity to make a gift to Kent State athletics, we do that through emails or text messages or calling campaigns. And then I focus a lot of my time on throughout the course of the year, these giving campaigns.
There's also a large amount of continuity with some of the big programs here on campus with their coaching staff. Coach Starkey, Coach Senderoff, Coach Duncan with baseball. How much do you feel that helps giving overall? Because the donors can get a chance to really know the community and know the coaching staff.
They're going to give to the things they're passionate about. And so when they can connect with that individual where they feel like they're a part of the program, and we want them to be a part of the program, we want to give that insight. We want to give them that inside look. And I could be the best at the world at my job, and it's not going to matter if I don't have great people that I'm working with. And so these coaches are those great people.
What's the easiest way Kent State fans, if they're looking to right now, they're just figuring out about Giving Tuesday, that they can go donate to the program they'd like?
A couple different ways, but if you go to kentstatesports.com/support-your-sport, once Giving Tuesday starts, that'll flip over to our main Giving Tuesday page. And from there, you can select the sport or fund that's most important to you and donate through that.
Every penny counts. That's Senior Associate Director for Communications and Annual Giving, Chip Whipple. Chip, appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up this week in Kent State Athletics, brought to you by KSU Ticks. Kent State Volleyball has 2 home games on Halloween Friday and then on Saturday against Ball State. Field hockey wraps up the regular season on the road at App State on Halloween. Saturday, Kent State Cross Country takes part in the MAC Championships on November 1st. On Monday, Kent State men's and women's basketball open their seasons in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. The women travel to James Madison for a 6 p.m. tip-off, while the men are inside the MAC Center against the Troy Trojans for a 7 p.m. tip. And finally, on Wednesday, Kent State football starts midweek action as they travel to Muncie, Indiana to take on Ball State. As always, you can get your tickets at ksutix.com. If you want more info on your favorite Flashes teams, visit kentstatesports.com or go to the Go Flashes app. We'll be back with more right after this. Golden Flashes fans, it's time to lock in your seats. Men's and women's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Be a part of 30 home games in the 25-26 season and history as we tip off a brand new court and celebrate the 75th anniversary of the MAC Center. Don't miss your chance to witness the action, the tradition, and the excitement all season long. Get your tickets today at ksutix.com. That's ksutix.com. See you there, and go Flashes!
I think you can do so much from traveling the world. So many people just stay in the box that we live in.
The study abroad program at Kent State made it clear what path I should be taking.
Experiencing the different classes to experiencing the art and the buildings and the culture. I'm just hoping to take back everything I've learned and be able to apply it into whatever I do in the future.
Kent State has basically helped to set up the vision for the career that I want to be able to go through.
Joined here on Flash Talk by Kent State men's basketball assistant coach Randal Holt. Coach Holt, appreciate you joining me here on Flash Talk. Home openers right around the corner, November 3rd against Troy. What excites you most about this group?
I'm really excited about this season coming up, and I want to say I appreciate you for having me here. I'm really excited about this group. Just looking back at our growth, when we got together in June, when we put this group together, just our growth along the process of where we are now. And just being able to see, there's a lot of room for growth as well. So I'm just really excited and really looking forward to the season this year.
You guys do have a handful of important players back. Rico Gillespie, Sion Medley, Morgan Safford. What does that continuity do going into a season with a tough non-conference schedule?
I think it's really important to have our nucleus and our core back this year with Sion, with Morgan, and with Rico. Those guys have been able to really step up and take a step forward in terms of being leaders of our team. They've done a really, really tremendous job of bringing guys along, our younger guys. They've also done a really good job of bringing in our newcomers, just kind of help bringing those guys along, getting those guys used to how things work here at Kent State. So I think that's a really important piece to our team this year, those guys being our nucleus, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it.
You talked about those newcomers, a handful of freshmen, a handful of transfers as well. Where on that side, the newcomers, have you seen make strides?
I think every single one of those guys have taken steps in the right direction in terms of what we're looking for here. Again, our leadership from our older guys, our veteran guys have been tremendous. Just really thankful for those guys. Those guys have really took on that leadership role and been able to kind of help those guys get over the hurdles and, like I said, kind of get acquainted to how we run things here at Kent.
You guys do have a challenging non-conference slate. You go Troy, Cornell, UNC Wilmington. 2 of those 3 were in the NCAA tournament last year. How important is it that you guys challenge yourselves in the non-conference slate so you guys are prepared for MAC play?
It's very important. I think every season you want to play a tough non-conference schedule in hopes that gets you ready and gets your guys prepared for the things that they're going to see and the challenges they're going to face, throughout the season. And as we get later on in the season in February and March, hopefully the non-conference schedule will kind of prepare those guys for those moments. So I think it's really important that we play some really good teams, really well-coached teams and really successful programs. And I'm looking forward to it. I know our guys are ready. And again, there's always room for improvement and room for growth. So I think we're kind of at that stage now where we're just kind of getting in game form and, getting ready to take on the season.
A point of emphasis always with head coach Rob Senderoff's team is they're usually a very good defensive team. How much is that a point of emphasis through the summer and into the fall?
Yeah, that's always been a staple here at Kent State. We've always taken a lot of pride in the defensive side of the basketball. I think it's all 5 guys. It's something that all of our guys has to buy into, but they all know how important it is and how essential it is for us to win games. And you have to be a really good defensive team. And like I said, it's kind of been a staple for a really long time here. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
You guys have obviously practiced a lot before you play a couple of scrimmages. It seems like a very competitive group just watching a couple of practices. Can you describe that level of competitiveness and the drive that the guys come with every single day?
That starts at the top. That starts with Coach Cindy. He preaches competitiveness. He's really big on that. He understands how important that is in order to win games in this league. It's a really tough league. And, it's something that he instills in the guys every single day. He instills it in us as assistants. We obviously pass it down to the players. So it's something that starts at the top.
Who would you say is the vocal leader that has stood out to you for this year's group?
Well, again, I would say our seniors, our returning players, our veteran guys that kind of know exactly how things work here at Kent. Those guys are pretty battle tested. Coming off of a season where we had a really good year. We went to the quarterfinals in the NIT. So, those guys played a lot of minutes. They played a lot of meaningful games for us. Again, those guys have taken a leadership role and kind of taken the voice as the team.
It's the 75th anniversary of the MAC Center. I know you have played in a lot of games as a player here in the MAC Center. You've coached on the bench for a lot of games here in the MAC Center. What are some of those memories or favorite memories that stick out to you, 1, as a player, and 2, as a coach?
You kind of always equate those memories to wins. Just being in big games and winning big games here in the MAC Center was second to none, and now I'm able to be a part of that as a coach. I'm really thankful and I'm really blessed for that. And I think that's kind of what makes our staff unique here at Kent. It's a special thing that all of us kind of play here. We're all alumni, so it's a place that we all hold deep in our heart, and you know, we want nothing but the best for this program.
On Monday at 7 p.m. in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge against Troy. That's Kent State men's basketball assistant coach Randal Holt. Coach Holt, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Flash Talk. Make sure you tune in next week as we preview midweek action for the Kent State football team. For our entire GFTV studio, Ethan Lachinsky, Justin Spots, I'm Dane Richardson saying good night and go Flashes.
The light from a star can take millions of years to reach Earth. So when you look at a star, you're looking back in time. But I see the future. I see exploration and courage. I see my country finding new horizons out there. And I see giant leaps making a comeback. I see myself. The future is where I'll make history.
Looking to revamp your home? Let Fair Painters, owned by Kent State football legend Brian Winters, tackle the job. From flawless interior painting to precise drywall repair and stunning cabinet refinishing, we've got you covered. Our local team in Streetsboro ensures top quality craftsmanship, fast service, and a 10% discount for veterans. Make your home look its best with the pros you can trust. Visit fairpainters.com or call 888-602-3247 for your free estimate today. Fair Painters, where fair meets quality.